Hi, it's Matt here from PC Games N. We're here at Gamescom 2016, and we are actually here with the Tyranny developers. This is Brian, who's the game director on Tyranny. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. We've had a look at the game, and one of the things that we were looking at is the new spell creation system.
Yes.
Would you like to just sort of like give us an overview about how this sort of like in-depth system works?
Definitely. So one of the things we're doing differently in Tyranny is that unlike a traditional D&D game, you're not learning magic by memorizing spells and finding grimoires and things like that. Instead, you create your own spells by finding magical sigils in the world, and these sigils allow you to basically craft your own spells. So you start with something that we call like a core sigil, like fire, frost, or lightning, and then decide how that magic type is going to express itself, whether it's a long-range bolt or a cone, like you can create a cone of flames or a fireball doing this. And then from that, you can find additional sigils that allow you to modify those spells, like making them more powerful, increasing their range, or adding secondary effects. Like you can actually create a magical fireball that actually leaves targets bleeding on the ground.
Amazing.
So a lot of different effects you can apply just to customize and craft your own spells however you want.
That's super. And in terms of sort of like applying that to the combat, how do you feel the combat system has progressed from sort of like the other sort of classically RPGs that you've done?
So one of the things we did differently with Tyranny is try to reduce the party size. Pillar shipped with a 6-person party, and we went down to a 4-person. The main reason for that is to try and give you fewer actors on screen at any one time, so it's much easier to actually manage the game. So on easier difficulty settings, you don't have to pause the game as much. You can actually issue commands and play through combats without as much pause. Definitely on the harder difficulty levels, when enemies get smarter, they have better tactics, you're going to want to pause and control the characters. But since you only have 4 players in the party, it's much easier to keep track of what everybody's doing and see what their status is in combat without trying to keep track of 6 people, plus summons, plus pets, plus everything else that can go on with a larger party.
Yeah, and the party members seemed relatively sort of smart when we were playing it. They've got like AI that will make sure that they heal you on time and things like that, yeah?
Absolutely. So every companion has their own AI packages you can select from. They'll use their abilities intelligently in combat, and if you give them spells that you craft, they'll use those spells as well. So any spell you create and give to a companion, they can use intelligently in combat as well.
And the section that we were playing was less kind of like the typical sort of classic chatting with people. It was very much kind of like a dungeon sort of crawl.
Yes.
And is there a specific sort of like methodology that you applied to your dungeons that make them sort of feel a bit more unique?
So one of the things we try to do with our, what we're showing is one of our old wall dungeons in the area, which is these massive structures that span the continent that were created by an ancient civilization. And they're like very magical. A lot of magical lore is hidden inside of them. But they also attract these evil creatures called the Bane that try to kill everyone who sees them and drain their life force to feed themselves. So basically everyone who's tried to go inside the old walls typically dies until you come along and actually make your way through. So one of the things we try to do is create our dungeon experiences as much more of a classic dungeon crawling experience with traps, with interesting encounters and creatures, and lots of treasure and loot to go and find. So there are very deadly experiences in the game, but the reward is well worth it.
And you say it's a deadly experience. I mean, the game is called Tyranny. And got it. I guess in terms of how you built the lore of the game, kind of what was your sort of idea from the beginning, and how have you progressed with that?
I mean, so the initial idea was just that simple idea that a world where evil has won and you're playing the evil character. We wanted to make the game where you can make the evil choices and not feel restricted. A lot of our role-playing games that give you the choice between good and evil, but a lot of times the evil option is like just being a psychopath who's killing everybody in sight. We wanted to give you like focus our energy on playing that evil character and give you a lot of options in how you choose to be evil in context. So a lot of our quests are about like how can we give the player the chance to do evil in interesting ways. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to go and kill everybody. I mean, it's an option, but that's kind of limiting. So you have different things about whether you bribe, blackmail, steal, like extort, imprison and punish people. There's like lots of different things you can do in the game to enforce your will on the environment and choose to either be a complete evil bastard or try and be somewhat of a better character than that.
So for the goody two-shoes out there, like more of a chaotic neutral sort of...
Yes, basically, There's not going to be like a pure good option because you're surrounded by evil people. It's like, it's hard to be good when you're surrounded by evil, but you can be a better person if you want.
Cool. That's all from Tyranny. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and check out our website for more from Gamescom 2016.